Hello everyone and welcome back to a brand new video from BuriedONE. In today's video we're going to be talking about the RTX Turing and what I actually think about these graphics cards. They are going to be good for mining, as I'm going to be at GamesCom. I'm wearing this t-shirt here, so if you see me on GamesCom, make sure to have a chit chat with me. Don't be shy, I'm not biting you, man. So first of all, the Turing live stream I did was way longer than I expected. The new slogan of NVIDIA is going to be, "It just works." And eventually I started realizing, okay, so this is actually a ripped off Titan V version of their chip. So it is actually Titan V, but they made some major changes to it. So what I think this is, as a lot of people ask about the performance of this new graphics card series, I'm going to tell you there's not going to be a lot of difference. As we know, the Titan V is just a little bit better than a 1080 Ti, because to the better amount of CUDA cores slammed into it, as it has more CUDA cores. It's just very simple. The more you have, the more you can do, the faster frames per second. So the thing is, they had an issue. It's the same as AMD did with the HBM2 memory. So HBM2 memory heats up the core, and the core heats up the memory. When HBM2 memory heats up, it loses performance. When a GPU's core from the Titan V using GPU Boost 3.0 heats up, it's also gonna turn down the clock speeds. I'm gonna give you an example here. If you're doing a benchmark with a Titan V, when you set it to 2 GHz, for example, and you run it for 5 minutes, it will soon hit 81 degrees Celsius out of nowhere, as the HBM2 memory is heating up the heatsink, and also the core just right next to it is also heating up the core. So they were actually affecting each other on performance. So you lose 10 or 15% of its performance, as you end up with 1.7 gigahertz on the core at the end of the benchmark. So the RTX Turing is making use of GDDR6, and as we know, GDDR6 is way more efficient on power than the GDDR5 that we used before that. So this is giving you away the heat issue that the core had before. Also, it's 12 nanometers instead of 16, and this will definitely make it more power efficient on the core as well. So it wasn't heating up so much anymore, and the GDDR6 was replacing this heat issue with the HBM2 next to the core. So they stripped out 10% of the CUDA cores. Isn't that very similar? So yeah, this will be almost the same as the Titan V's performance, as they stripped out 10% of the CUDA cores, so it has 10% less performance, as the Titan V, when it heats up, loses 10% of its performance. It makes very much sense to me. So they increased the die size, they added the new Raytracing cores to it, and they invented the best ray tracing GPU that is existing. So AMD is actually 2 steps behind now, as they are probably working on tensor cores right now. They also are like, okay, now we need to do ray tracing cores as well. So my point is, they will still perform the same as a Titan V on or 1080 Ti. Better said, because you can better buy a 1080 Ti then, if it's still the same, than wasting a lot of money on those new graphics cards or a Titan V. So the gaming performance on old games that are not using ray tracing are going to be the same. It's not going to be any improvement. So here comes the thing. So today I kind of read a little bit things about Gamescom already, as I'm still waiting for a friend of mine to arrive, and I decided to make this video. So there's a few sneaky gamers that did some benchmarks on the new Tomb Raider game. So they realized that they were running 30 to 50 frames per second on this new game using ray tracing, the RTX On, let's say, that they showed like many times in the video. This was running on 1080p. A 1080 Ti that is not running on ray tracing, it's able to get 180 frames per second on this quality. So this is causing some weird why should I buy this news across the internet. I understand that, that's totally acceptable. I think it's just too early. There's no games utilizing the ray tracing yet other than rendering programs, so it's not going to be worth it. It's going to be okay for mining, even though the price is too high. So if you don't care too much about electricity cost, this was the moment that a lot of people, as you guys and miners, are waiting for. Like, hey, should I buy my graphics cards now or should I wait for the next generation? Well, they are going to be the same performance, let's say, as you see the watts per megahash per price. They are going to be exactly the same, as their efficiency will probably be better due to GDDR6 and Volta architecture inside it, but they will be very costly. And they could be very much power hungry, less costly, and still perform the same. So what I'm going to try on Gamescom is I'm going to try and convince one of these guys that are actually having these graphics cards inside the PCs just to run crypto mining real quickly and get me the results. So I'm going to try to figure this out for you guys. But as we estimated, I showed you guys on the live stream how much I'm estimating these graphics cards to mine on Ethereum. For example, the RTX 2080 Ti, I expect it to do 77 megahashes per second, and the 2080 and the 2070 are sharing the same memory bandwidth, so they will be doing about 56 megahashes per second. Okay, what power usage, BuriedONE? I think about 150 or 160 watts. So that's pretty much, as the Titan V is actually using 165 watts. But this is probably due to the high power usage HBM2 memory. So what we're going to do here is we're going to test it for you guys. And this video will probably post it, I hope today or after Gamescom, as soon as possible. So hopefully you all enjoyed this video today. And see you guys at Gamescom or in the other video.